everyone, and welcome back to the Astro Bridge. I am Suzanne, your torchbearer, and I'm here on the Astro Bridge, and we have we have a topic today that's going to be so much fun. And I think it's important because last week's topic was very heavy. So why not put in some fun and lighten the mood? I mean, all topics are important, and this one is too, but it can be fun. We're talking all about the stars that are in your life, and we're not just talking about the Hollywood stars, we're talking about the stars above you and how they were positioned on the morning or the night you were born. The exact time you were born. Because, Jane, as you told me, there is a difference, isn't there?
Oh, yes, indeed.
Definitely. So, Jane, my astrologer, and I will be talking about that. But before we go there, with all the awesome autistic individuals that are in the world telling you what the traits of autism are, such as Paul Micallef from Autism on the Inside, and Ryan Kelly in Australia, Samantha Stein in the Netherlands, Sarah Hendricks in the UK, Temple Grandin here in the US, as well as our guest last week, Wendy Whitcomb Marsh. They're all telling you, and as well as so many other autistic, late diagnosed autistic individuals are telling you their traits. I am here on the Aspie Bridge on the neurodivergent side to say, come to me. I can help you. I can give you the information, the resources we never had, give you the information from all my wonderful guests, such as Jane, all the ones that come before her, all the ones that come after her. And not only that, I can connect the two of you together so that we can solve a part of your life that is challenged. No, we're not solving you. We're not fixing you. We're solving a problem that you're experiencing so that you can go confidently in onto the society side and live a full life. Not just survive, but thrive. So today, as I said, we're going to be talking about the stars on the night or the day that you were born and how they can make up the characteristics of who you really are and who you turn out to be. Now, Jane has had my birth chart from many other times that we've been together. So we're going to use my birth chart as an example. This isn't a me show. This is just she's using my chart as an example of how to read the different lines and the different houses and everything. So if you've never heard of astrology, you're not quite sure of its scientific basis. A lot of you may think it's woo-woo, and it doesn't really matter. It does matter. It matters significantly. But toward the second half of this podcast, we're going to be looking at Thomas Edison. Why Thomas Edison? Did you know that there's a possibility that he might have been autistic as well? Now, we can't prove it. You can never prove someone is autistic after they've passed on. So there's no proof, but there are traits that are pointing to his story and how they tell the facts of how he might have been sent home from school because he might have been autistic. But back in that time, they called it addled. They didn't call it autistic. He was considered uneducable, too silent, too quiet, too slow in school. And does that sound familiar? It did to me. And the next 4 weeks after this one, we're going to be taking a deeper study into that. So that's why I thought it might be fun if Jane pulled up his star chart as well. So we could do a comparison between the two of them. But first, Jane, the last time you and I spoke on this Aspie Bridge, you were in the financial mortgage aspect of our conversation. And now you're an astrologer. What made you switch? And tell us a little bit more about you and the move over to astrology.
Oh, Suzanne, it is so wonderful to be here with you and everyone else. And, you know, it's funny. It's in the stars. It was in my birth chart that I would lean heavily towards the finance, real estate duo of an occupation. And so that's no surprise. However, there was other information that also told me that um, I'm a thinker out of the box. I'm kind of very Aquarian when it comes to my career. And I'll just say that for now, and save for later when we're talking about Thomas Edison and Suzanne's chart. I'll throw in my chart just slightly for a moment and explain how, at the age of 13, I started studying astrology. But then reality, circumstances, were what they were as a young adult, and I needed to work. And so I got into banking, mortgage banking for certain. And what was kind of neat is that as when you're in mortgage banking, you have every bit of information about a person, social security number, date of birth, and that type of thing. And on occasion, I might have someone who was just difficult or hard to understand, and so I'd look up their birth chart, just to, I didn't have their time of birth, but um, just to help me understand. Aha, I see the burden. I see the bumps, the bruises, and the warts now.
Hmm.
And this
Interesting.
person is coming from their wounds. And so, acceptance happens. Um, you know, and then I just was so ready. 10 years ago, I said, I'm going to do an early retirement and I'm going to get into astrology full time because I'm a typical Scorpio. I don't know if there are those of you in the audience who are born between the end of October, first 3 weeks of November. Well, we're
In
kind of
fact,
a
I do know a Scorpio, and she is someone that I am currently staying with right now. So this might be very interesting for her to hear what a Scorpio life is all about as well.
and you know what? And that is perfect for you because you have a major Scorpio um, aspect in your chart that's front and center. And so you would be very compatible with the Scorpio vibe. Yeah, so as a Scorpio, what we are, we're the kind of people, it's like, well, show me. Well, show me again. Well, you have to prove it to me. And there's, we're kind of as serious as a heart attack at times, but, luckily as I got older, I stopped being less serious. But basically, my point is that I didn't take astrology at just the surface value and say, "Oh, isn't this fun?" And no, I said, "Prove it to me." Over and over and over and over again, and then some more. So, that's kind of who we are. And but I love the fact that when I look at a chart, um, it's a snapshot of the heavens on the day, the time, and the place you were born, and it tells the story of you. You were not an accident. Everything and anything that is a part of your life is for your betterment. We're part of a divine universe that loves us, and we just maybe need to love ourselves more than the universe does, or at least meet the universe where it is, because it's conspiring for our best. And that's the good news. There's nothing scary about astrology.
No,
There doesn't have to be. Yes, there might be an astrologer or two here or there across the world that's like, oh, well, you're just doomed. It's like, no. And
no,
when we look at Thomas Edison's chart, when we look at Suzanne's chart, we will see, and probably your chart, we will see exactly the the sense of spirit, the jubilant spirit that can't be diminished. Now, yes, it can be beaten down a little bit. It can be thrown to the side, and it's made small, but nobody puts baby in the corner, you know,
Mm-mm.
um, kind of a thing. So there's such hope, and I love everyone's chart. It's like I get so excited because I approach it as, let me tell you about the gold that is in your mountain. And it's just about, let's go mining for that gold.
Ah,
That's
that
what,
sounds good. Yeah.
you know. So, yeah, I mean that's who I am, and that's what I see time and time again. Every person shows me their beauty, their shine. So,
Now, I've heard that you do a lot with couples to kind of help
oh,
them understand and not to divorce because, oh my gosh, this chart is so opposite, but to have grace for each other's um ebbs and
differences.
flows and let's see where they might be different from you and how to accept that difference or how to embrace how they're similar. I mean, as I remember you saying a number of times, it's not about, oh, you two should never be together. It's more about, let me tell you how you can use your positives to complement his positives and back and forth. Tell me more about that.
Yeah. Yeah, Suzanne, you're absolutely right. So what happens is, when this is, I love, it's called synastry, not sinister, synastry astrology, coming together, synonymous with each other. Um, and when I look at these two charts of couples, no matter who it is, or I look at, it could be roommates, it could be friends, it could be relatives, but in the romantic realm, it's very easy to see when you look at the two charts, those birth charts, they do tell you where was the hook that brought you close to that person.
Oh, that's interesting. Yes.
It is. It is. It's like, here's the hook. It was his or hers or that then. And I explain in detail what that is. I said, so, and I'll remember, oh my God, Suzanne, years ago, probably 30, 35 years ago, a divorce attorney told me, he said, the very thing that people come in complaining about and needing to get away from in a divorce is the very thing that attracted them in the first place.
Oh, wow.
I'll never forget that. And never a truer word was spoken than that, because he was right. And a lot of therapists will tell you that, oh, he was so full of life and love. And it's like, yes, manic depressives are full of life and love until they swing the other way. Or um you know he she was such a hard worker. I admired her grit and her stamina. And then it's like, yeah, but she never comes home. She doesn't come home much. I
Mhm.
don't see her. All she does is work. So it's like, yes, but what attracted you in the beginning? So the charts line up. And
Mhm.
yes, they line up to say, oops, here's a hurdle for you. Um, you're yinging and you're yanging, and sometimes the two don't meet. But let's talk about what did bring you together. Let's talk about what is not to be understood on the surface, but wait a minute, couldn't you learn about, well, this person has Venus and Mars in Capricorn, and you have Venus and Mars in Sagittarius. So one wants to go off into the wild blue yonder, and the other one wants to stay in their rocking chair. And it's like, however, it's all about blending. Can we blend? Can we admire? Can we appreciate? Can we understand? Because God knows we don't have enough understanding, meeting people where they are.
Oh, yeah.
Blame and criticism, right? It goes a long way. So, yeah, so the charts are and I tell the story to a lot of people because I to this day find it fascinating. So about 16 years ago, when my son was approaching his 30th birthday, um, workaholic, and it's right in his chart, and he had a girlfriend that they broke off, and a couple different girlfriends, but he looked like he was. I said, you're going in the wrong direction. You're never home. You how I know you want children, and so on and so on. And I said, well, I'm going to put your bio on Match in 6 months if, I'm kidding with him. And he would call me from time to time when he would meet a female and that he enjoyed their company. Mom, tell me about her. Now he may only have the date of birth, and I look up her chart. I may not have at that time her time of birth, but that's okay. I can still tell a lot about a person without their time of birth. And so I remember what chair I was sitting in. I could probably almost tell you what the temperature was outside when
Oh,
he
wow.
called me and said, Mom, I met someone last night, and here's her birthday. And so I've got the phone like this and my laptop computer, and my son's name is Anthony. And I said, Anthony, you met your wife last night. And
Wow.
he was, for such a cool, calm, collected guy, he starts yelling. Now he's driving and hands free, of course. He's driving and starts yelling, "Mom, you never told me that." I go, "I know because you never met her before, but you met her last night." Because I can't even tell you their charts were like bookends to one another, but yet there was enough interest, um, and interesting oppositions to make it a little spicy. But
Mm-hmm.
yet, the values, their core values, was well, that was let's see, 14 years ago, you know, um, that they got married, and life is really, really good. 4 children later, and they're a great match. So, yes. So,
That's that's interesting. And
yeah.
I wanted to do that lead in because that's important for people who are trying to look for love. And I'm doing a complete relaunch on my book from Five Simple Rules of Dating to
Yeah.
the Autistic Heart. And if someone's trying to really know, because we want to know, we don't want to have it go south before we even get a chance. But what an extra layer of finding out if this person is truly in sync with us versus the scam person who has come into our lives saying they're like us and really not. You can just say, let me consult with my astrologer and see if this really works. That's either
Yeah.
going to scare him away or is going to be like, I'm
Mhm.
interested. Let's see. I mean, what a great way to have that extra layer of knowing for sure if this person is who they say they are or pretending who they are. Now, I'm going to go one step further. Jane, you know my challenges with my mother. You've now met Nancy, who is my chosen mother. We're talking about Thomas Edison's mother, Nancy Edison, who was an advocator. Tell us about the mother-daughter connection because that's where I'm starting to find my work is going to be most beneficial Is it time for the mother and daughter to find their common stars? Or is it time to say, I gotta find my Nancy? And how ironic, Nancy Hall, Nancy Edison. I found a Nancy.
That's beautiful. I love to hear
Isn't
that.
this so symbolic? I mean, it just dawned on me now. Who was your Nancy? But tell
Right.
me about the mother-daughter connection in the stars. Is that gonna work the same way as the relationship?
Oh, without a doubt. Oh, any relationship, any two people, any five people. Um, I do groups. One of my specialties is to speak before groups. Um, it could be a fun thing like a birthday party, a reunion, a family reunion, but I even go into corporations and I speak with um, small to mid-sized corporations, um, and I tell people I share on kind of a quick level because nobody wants to sit for. I couldn't possibly do and communicate effectively a person's chart and do it for everyone in the large groups. But what I do is, I hope to make it comical because the holes in your head fit the bumps in the person sitting next to you or down the hall where you work or where, in your household. Um, but I can also see the rubs. And there are rubs that you can't maybe come back from. And
Mhm.
it's okay. But it's understanding, and see, this is the other thing that I see in charts, and this is what I know about being human. We are all meant to be overcomers.
Mhm.
We're all meant to find our place in the sunshine. Okay? And so if someone like a mother or a sister, bloodline, father, you name it, is treating you poorly, every time you're with that person, you experience a downturn in your mood, and so on and so on. And the chart says oil and vinegar, but there's always a silver lining in that. It's like, thank you for the lesson.
Mhm.
I hope you can appreciate the lesson as well, but I think I need to remove myself from this. I'll give you an example, but and this is a romantic scenario, but it pertains in everybody's charts. You can compare any two charts. Um, there was a client of mine who was first time talking to her, and she was moving from New York State to Chicago, and I'm doing her chart. But then I said, "Well, she's telling me how she's moving to for this boyfriend who's in Chicago, and she's serious about, and so on." I said, let's look up his chart. And she texted him and got his time of birth, and so live we were able to look that up. And I said to her, I said, Denise, I said, I don't think he knows you. I don't, I don't see the blend. I don't think he gets you. I don't
Mhm.
think he's able to because his chart is so definite and it doesn't blend with yours. I said, do you feel like he doesn't get you? He doesn't understand you. He doesn't validate you. And she said, yeah, yeah, I guess he kind of does. I said, but I bet you admire him because he's such a brainiac and you find him fascinating. But I don't know, you might want to rethink about moving cross country.
Mm.
Well, it lasted 3 months and she was back, and the rest is history. so no, I don't tell people, run, don't walk. Um, I had a very successful um, professional contact me and say there's a guy who he's from another country, and I met him on a dating site, and he's really, God, we have the same kind of ancestral background, both from Korea, and we blend. I said, okay, get his birthday information, and I said to her, I said, he's not who he says he is.
That example I brought up earlier.
Right, exactly. And sure enough, within a week, I mean, she was flying to somewhere, I can't remember where, to meet up with him for the first time, getting on an airplane. And you
Which I
know,
tell my readers in my book, nuh-uh. As an autistic, don't fly anywhere to meet someone. That
right.
is
Yeah.
number one jeopardy. Don't fly to meet someone, particularly if you don't know them well.
Right. Right. Yeah, exactly. And so she, without flying, she did really it. I In looking at his chart, yes, he could have given me any information, so, but the information I had said, mm-mm. Something tells me that it was his information, you know.
Hmm.
Anyways, so yes, you can always tell if there's going to be a blend, or it's going to be, well, it could be a blend, but there's going to be a lot of communication that has to happen in order for the
Hmm.
blend to it's not going to come naturally. So it's
Now,
it's it's all too
are there
interesting.
certain um are there certain signs that really are going to be at opposition? I mean, I know you said I have some Leo in me, but I have a Leo mother, a strong, controlling Leo mother. Tell me
Yeah,
how that works, and are there other, like, both both sides of the pendulum
right.
relationships that are just gonna be oil and
Yes.
water all the way, or is there some positive buried deep below the sea, as we should call it, maybe?
Right. Yes. Okay.
If you want to
So,
bring up my
and that
chart, you
is
can do that if that helps.
oh, sure. Well, I I certainly can. Let me
Whatever you think is best.
see here. Share screen. Here we go. Okay. Can you Oh, there we go. Can you see? Oh,
I can. Yes.
you see that?
Yes.
Okay. All right, beautiful. Let me see if can I pull this down? Um, well, okay. Is my cursor going up to the moon right now?
It looks like it is.
Do you
Yeah,
see my
yep,
do you see my
yes.
cursor going up and down? Okay. So, this is Suzanne's moon sign. She is just like everyone born in the middle of February, February 12th to be exact. Um, Everyone in the world born February 12th is an Aquarian. And but on the day that Suzanne was born, the moon was moving through the constellation of Leo. And Leo is that, I almost call it like a woman's flip hairstyle. And it's in a red color, and it's a fire sign, versus her sun sign, February 12th, which is an air sign. Well, that's good. That essentially is good. However, you were born just as the full moon was starting to occur.
Oh, we know what
Okay.
they say about full moon
Yep.
sometimes.
Yep. Howl like a wolf or and the increase in emotions, if the moon can cause the tides to rise and fall, which it does, along with sea creatures and along with a lot of things, farmers plant by the moon, and so on. And there's lots more, but for our purposes today, Suzanne, your chart, um, your moon was opposite your sun. Hmm. Well, what does that mean? Well, I'm using the word opposition. The moon in all of our charts is the feminine. The sun is the masculine. The
Hmm.
sun is the father, but it's also in ourselves, it's the core self, our core self. So Suzanne's true to being an Aquarian because she is on the cutting edge. She's an air sign, which means she's a thinker. She thinks a lot. How does she think? Well, she thinks in futuristic planning, kind of, this is my vision. This is what I see. And then the moon is, like I said, our emotions, the feminine. Well, the moon is our mother. And the moon in Leo, now the best part about the moon in Leo is that it's happy. It's like a breath of fresh air. It is childlike, um, hoping and wishing against all odds that things will turn out. That's the Leo moon, right?
Hmm.
However, the Leo moon is also childish, selfish. Okay,
Ah.
can be self-centered. Oh, did I tell you about me? Can I tell you more about me? It's like Leo sun signs, especially enjoy being on stage. They just enjoy being on stage. They are not against drama. They court drama. They bring it to their lives. So there's that element for you, Suzanne. Um,
That
but
sounds so true.
okay, yeah, that makes sense, right? And so yeah, so here we have this emotional but very fiery moon. Well, what's a person to do? Well, get through your childhood and then become your own adult and be an overcomer. Take the good that was mom. Turn your scars into stars. Okay? And that's what Suzanne has done. And that's what a lot of people with the moon in Leo during their birth have the capacity to do, because you are sunshine walking in the door, you know.
Mhm.
Now, Suzanne, also, um, you have you have a couple of different configurations in your chart. Um, but how can I best speak to your audience? I mean, I can go on about
The
some of the
interesting thing is that potential. Where does it show my potential per se? Because this is something that we will be looking at with Thomas Edison. I mean, some people are the
yes,
laid back, relaxed kind of person
right.
that is content being the homebody. Other people are the overachievers. Where would I fall along that line? And what line would designate to someone who is trying to understand it? Which line would designate my potential?
Okay. There's a couple of things. One is that you were also born with the ascendant. Do you look to the left of the screen? Can you see my cursor going around the letters AC?
I can, yes.
Yep. Ascendant. The sun, the moon, and the ascendant are the three major players in anybody's birth chart. And Suzanne, your ascendant is in the sign of Scorpio, right here. It's this blue letter M that has a little tail and an arrow. Well, let me tell you, Scorpio is a formidable opponent. Scorpio is not for the faint of heart. It is a fixed sign that means business. And it's like having a Scorpio ascendant is like, it's even beyond having an ace up your sleeve. It's it's having a steel backbone. Um, your ability to keep on keeping on is a Scorpio ascendant. Um, all three of your lineup, the Aquarius sun, the Leo moon, and the Scorpio ascendant, are those three are called fixed signs.
Hmm.
Fixed, determined, ingrained, grounded, loyal, and determined. And there are only four signs of the zodiac out of the 12 that are fixed. And you've got three.
Wow.
There, you got three of the four, like right there in your major lineup. And it's like, I'm betting on her. you know,
Cool.
the
Cool.
stick to itiveness, that ability. But there are so many other things in your chart. Okay, here's one for you. So, this is the planet Venus. Venus, love and romance, and, um, just everything to do with creativity, the arts, music, and but certainly first in line is love and romance. How does Suzanne love? Well, it's in the earth sign of Capricorn, and it's in her third house of life. Wow, what does that mean? And I gotta laugh.
I'm curious to hear too. This is kind of cool. And then I'm
I
going to ask
no,
you,
it does it makes me laugh. You, how does she love, and why does she love, and what is she here to love? The third house is the house of the master communicator.
wow.
Yep, yep. And, well, what's the sign of Capricorn? Oh, the Capricorn is the titan of entrepreneurial business. Oh, could she make it her career to talk and listen and write? Oh, yeah, you betcha.
Interesting.
um,
Oh my gosh, it's so fascinating. Where does
right?
Gemini? Because at one point you and I were talking about Gemini was a strong sign as well.
Um, well, not strong, not stronger than the
Capricorn.
sun, moon, and the
Oh,
sun, moon, and
yes.
ascendant, and then this Venus. The other thing was, you have Saturn, and Saturn is right here at 9 degrees of Aries,
Mm-hmm.
and it's in your fifth house of great creativity. Well, if you want to know, and this is kind of a downer, sort of, but again, we're always about turning our scars into stars. Saturn is the teacher of life's lessons. There is only one line that goes from Saturn all the way up to the moon.
Oh boy.
I rest
Life
my case.
lessons in Leo. Huh. Hmm.
However, here's the thing that tells me, is she an overcomer? Oh, yeah, because that line is blue. Blue lines are ease, in the flow. I understand. I'm here to understand. I'm here to be educated. And so, you know, it tells me she's got a way out. She can get out of this. This thumb that wants to keep her pushed down. Because Saturn wants to put the lid on everything for our best. But sometimes it's not for our best. But you have what it takes to turn that around. And so, yeah. Um, how is a diamond formed? It's under pressure, isn't it?
Oh,
Years of pressure,
definitely.
right? So red lines are pressure. Red lines in our chart tell the story of adversity, opposition, um, and it's like, here's the funny thing: I have a nephew whose chart has one red line and all the rest are blue.
Oh,
Guess what? He is a lazy person.
oh, wow.
He's been handed everything. Life is easy. He doesn't have a lot of ambition. He's a nice person, but he never reaches beyond.
Mhm.
And it shows he doesn't have to. And there you have it. So, as much as we may think and dream that we want no red lines in an astrology chart, it's like, no, no, no. Yes, you
No,
do. You
yeah.
do. Um, we're here to learn, and we're here to experience, and we're here to teach other people, you know, as well as be taught.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
yeah. The other thing in your chart that is pretty outstanding is right here. The planet Mars, just down from Saturn, the planet Mars at 27 degrees Pisces is in exact conjunction with Chiron. It's like, I don't know whether to send you a congratulatory card or a sympathy card. Okay? Okay. But here it is. Mars is the planet of action. And we're talking about the sign of Pisces. Pisces is right here. It's a blue sign. It's a water sign, just like your ascendant here, Scorpio.
Oh.
Water signs are deep, penetrating. They think. There's a detective inside of you with the Scorpio ascendant. And it's like, so your ability to take action, which is Mars, in a Pisces kind of way. Pisces is the healer of the zodiac, the premier healer that knows, studies their affliction, and wants to find a way out. Mars is almost militant in wanting to get results.
Mhm.
Chiron is the wounded healer.
I
It's
mean,
like,
the Aspie Bridge right there.
right, right. So, in exact conjunction, it's like this woman is a winner. This woman is a healer. This woman takes action to bring about the healing. And where is it? It's in the fifth house. What's the fifth house? The fifth house is synonymous with the sign of Leo. It is the sign of the child. So the wounds of the child are being pioneered by Suzanne, because that's what Mars does. Mars blazes the trail that no one maybe dares to go. Blazes the trail and does what? Is seeking out the children, is seeking out the child within, her child within. The child within with what? Well, with a wounded healer. She's a wounded healer. Yeah, but she is also a healer that was wounded, and so she knows. And it's in the sign of Pisces, which is the premier healer. And it's like, well, I don't know nothing, I guess. If I don't know something, which is right there, it's that.
I mean, that perfectly gives full
Credence.
exclamation to why I'm the torchbearer.
Yes. Yes. Because you are passionate and militant and strong and you will blaze the trail. If, I want her as my spokesperson. With the
Hmm.
Scorpio ascendant and those three fixed signs, she doesn't give up. She doesn't give in. So there's the spirit of and that's just a little bit about Suzanne's chart. Um,
Wow. That's
you know,
amazing though, Jane. That is so
isn't
cool.
it? It is. It is. I mean, you're amazing. It validates us. It gives us a feel good. Oh, wow, I really am here for a reason. Yeah, you
Yeah.
are. Every single one of us
And
is.
we're born on a particular day, and that's important for you to say because I was due on January 25th. And my mom got upset that didn't come on that day, and I kept trying to say I meant to come when I meant to can when I came.
Yes. Yes, and people will say to me, "Well, I was induced. I was an induced birth, or I was a C-section, or I was late, or I was early." It's like you came when you came when you came. It's the
Mm-hmm.
date of birth, the time of birth, and the place of birth, and all is well. End of story.
Bit about Thomas Edison. What does his
Oh
chart
yeah.
say about who he? Well, I mean, we know who he came to be, but let's
Right.
see why he was destined to come that way.
Yeah, yeah. So this is Thomas Edison's chart. Can you see it?
But maybe if you enlarge, maximize the screen, maybe.
It's too small, is it?
No, you might be okay. I mean, we can see pretty much. The only ones we don't see are Leo and
Oh, at the
um
top.
at the top.
Yeah,
That's okay. We can see it because I mean,
and
if you know that Leo is at the very top, what's to the left of Leo before Libra?
okay. Okay, oh,
That
that's Virgo. But you know
Virgo,
what?
right?
We're not going to be talking about well, we are going to be talking about the top of the chart, but I'll tell you about it.
That
Okay?
sounds great. Go for it.
We're going to be talking about primarily probably 70% the bottom and maybe 30% the top. Um, but you'll still follow me uh, and I will help you to understand, what I'm saying. So
Now
here
I
we
see two new colors in there that weren't in my chart. I see a
have
green and a purple.
Yeah, yeah, this is a different astrologer. I
Okay.
had to look this up out of my program. Um, so Thomas Edison was born on February 11th, um, in the 1800s. I think it was 1849 or something like that. And he lived a long life. I mean, he lived into his 90s, almost, yeah, like 91 or something like that, I think, when he died. But anyways, his chart. Okay, so here is the sun right here in the sign of Aquarius, the air sign of Aquarius. Well, what does he have? What's next to his sun sign? Well, it's Neptune and also Mercury. Well, well, well. Um, the sun, the core self, Aquarius, the the one who is the rebel, the one who goes against the odds, the one who's on the cutting edge, the visionary, the one who sees the future, the one who says, I believe, we can do it. Um, and Aquarians are for the masses. A typical Aquarians are scientific. Aquarians love calculations and numbers and potions of this this material and that material and the blending of that and the chemistry and the you know that is a true Aquarian. Now you might be an Aquarian born the end of February, or I'm sorry, the end of January, the first 3 weeks of February, and say, yeah, but I don't feel like that. It's like there's a reason for that. We won't get into that today, but I understand. I do hear that from time to time, and so I'm able. That's why we look at the birth chart. You're not your sun sign. Yes, you
Mm.
are, and some people are more. Like Suzanne is a true Aquarian, but Thomas Edison is a true Aquarian. He was born with the sun and the planet Mercury right here in Aquarius. His mind. Mercury is the mind, the sun is the core self, and he also has Neptune in Aquarius in conjunction with these other two planets, his core self and his mind. What's Neptune? Neptune is just like Pisces, what we talked about, Suzanne, with you, the healer, the true healer. Okay? And so where those blue lines that go up to the top of his chart, where at the very top of the chart are the letters MC. And a lot of astrology, because it harkens back to, 2,000 years, 2,500 years, and even further back, MC is the top of the chart. It is the career for all to see. The top of a chart is exactly that. You can see it all. Um, is that my, my machine went off? I hope that's not a diversion, is it?
Nope.
No, you couldn't. Good, 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 good. So that MC, the top of the chart, is for all to see. Wow, we've got four planets: Mercury, the Sun, Neptune, and Saturn, the teacher of life's lessons. And this it's making a bold blue line up to where the MC, the medium coli, it's Latin, the top of his chart for all to see, the career on the cutting edge. But his Saturn is in the sign of Pisces, of the healer, and Saturn is the teacher of life's lessons. Well, so here's this Aquarian, this trailblazer into the future. We can do this. I believe if I study this chemistry, if I study electricity, if I study and study, um, the focus, it's um, it's strong. As you can see, it's very, very strong.
Absolutely.
And I'll get into a couple of other things in a minute. I want to go back to, and I think this is hilarious, Do you see what his ascendant is? Scorpio.
Review.
Scorpio. Just like Suzanne's. He's
Hmm?
got backbone. He's got fortitude. He's got grit. Just like Suzanne. The Aquarian with grit. The another fixed sign. Now, the word fixed, it's like the Rock of Gibraltar, is in astrology. A fixed sign stays. Well, what can happen? You can stay stuck if you're too fixed.
Mhm.
So is it a fight? Was it a fight for Thomas Edison? Was it a fight for Suzanne Plumley to get out of her fixed mode of, well, this is who I am. Well, this is who I am. Well, this is, maybe it's a broken record, but she doesn't. She stays there. She studies her affliction so she can do what? So she can help to heal herself first and then to go on to others. So these fixed signs, it can be the kiss of death, or it can be like kissing the Blarney Stone in Ireland and being the great gift. But we sometimes have to just take that and we have to move. We can't stay fixed. Stay fixed in some things,
I
right?
have a question and I'm gonna look it up after.
Yeah.
It will be interesting. I bet Nancy Edison was a Scorpio
Oh my gosh, that's funny. Yeah. Oh, I didn't think about that. Yeah.
because, and I mean, I just did a study on her the other day, but I forgot to look at her birthday. But wouldn't it be so explanatory if she was his Scorpio, his advocate, that said,
Yeah.
no, I'm not going to listen to society. I am your advocate. And as you pointed out before, and like Nancy Hall is my advocate in many ways, as well as some
Right.
others.
Right. Yeah. Um, so okay, Nancy Edison, I just got to look at this.
It's a
Uh
curiosity factor, right?
it is. It absolutely is. Huh. Okay. Well, this is talking about her and her husband. They got when they got married, but it's not hmm. And here's a portrait of her. Like, come on, we want to know her birthday. Well, uh no. And I'm in Wikipedia, I'm in a lot of different things, so I don't understand why this isn't, popping up. Um Nancy Edison.
Do you have an
Well,
iPhone?
I do.
Ask Siri, what is Nancy Edison's birthday?
Oh, hold on, so.
The
All
quality
right.
of your questions is the level of answer you'll get, is what we're taught in our organization.
Oh my God. Okay. All right. I'm looking at all sorts of things. Oh, here we go. She was born on September 6th. Yep. Mary Mary Stillwell Edison. Oh no. No, that's his wife. No, that's not. That's his wife. Well, I'm beside myself here. Okay, so how do I ask Siri on my phone?
Just say, what is Thomas Edison? Siri, what is Thomas Edison's birthday? I mean, what is Nancy Edison's birthday?
Right. But don't I have to press something?
Nope, just say, hey Siri.
Hey Siri, what is Nancy Edison's birthday. Thank you, Siri. She was born on January 4th. She was a
Okay.
Capricorn.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And you had something about Capricorn in my sign. So I
Yes.
wonder if Capricorn has any variance in his sign.
Well, the one thing about that I like about that, and let's look right here. Okay, so here is Capricorn. Now he has both Mars and the Moon in the sign of Sagittarius, and I'm going to get to that in a minute. But this is all takes place within the second house of life.
Okay.
What is the second house? And his mother's sun sign is in his second house of life. The second house is the house of value, financing, money. But it also boiled down means it's how we value ourselves. What do we value and who values us?
Mm-hmm.
The Capricorn mother values, and it's in the second house. So that's how it plays out.
Wow.
Usually it's about, let me say this, in relationships, it's better to look at the moon. Like my guess, Suzanne, is that your mother had a moon that was like a moon in Virgo or a moon in maybe a moon in Scorpio, because those are tough moons. They don't give people a break. They're different from the sun sign. It's different from the ascendant. The
Mm-hmm.
Scorpio ascendant and sun sign is very different from the Scorpio moon. So that's how we really tell who is our ally. Who are we
Mm-hmm.
going to blend with? My son that I talked about earlier was a Virgo with a Capricorn moon. His wife is a Capricorn with a Virgo moon,
Oh, yeah. Oh, I see what you mean by the bookends now. Right.
right? Among other things. And so Thomas Edison, um, yes, and his mother, um, I mean, he had the fighting spirit of Mars with his moon. The moon is our mother, is the feminine inside of us, whether we're male or female. He had the fighting spirit in the second house of his value, how he valued himself. And with his moon, the moon tells the story of mom. Remember, I said with you, the moon in Leo. Well, the downturn to a Leo sign, the more negative characteristics are the selfishness, the what about me, the dramatic, um, more selfish. Sagittarius moon is again, it is a fire sign, just like your Leo moon.
Mm-hmm.
But Sagittarius is freedom loving. Um, where Leo is freedom loving, but Leo is there for to shine and also to shine a light on others. Sagittarius is about the mental journey, the cerebral mental journey that a person wants to take. It's almost like having ants in your pants to have the moon in Sagittarius, because you want to see beyond and go to the wild blue yonder, to go to points maybe that other people haven't been to. It's the archer of the zodiac, so it takes the arrow and the bow and it shoots, and it goes into the wild blue yonder. It has such exuberance. It makes Leo look tame. Leo doesn't have that need, or a person with a Leo moon doesn't have to travel far and wide like the Sagittarian. And the Sagittarian is the forever student. It's the brainiac of the zodiac. And the fact that it's with Mars, his militant take action, Mars is with his mother loving sign, moon, and in the sign of Sagittarius. He's on fire. He's on fire with what his emotions are. It fuels him. However, we go to Pisces, Venus,
Mm-hmm.
Pisces, Venus. Well, what's Pisces? Pisces and Neptune are just like yours in that, or I say yours, your Mars and your Chiron in Pisces fueling you. Well, what does Tom Edison love? Who does he love? What does he love? He too has the healing spirit, the Pisces ability to, I care about humanity. I mean, Aquarius is the great humanitarian. It doesn't get any greater. I mean, look up the word humanitarian, and your and Thomas Alva Edison's pictures should be there.
And I've always called myself a humanitarian by all stretch. I mean, right from politics on up. Are you a Republican or Democrat? I'm neither. I'm a humanitarian.
Yes, yes. Um, but Edison had this rocket pack strapped to his back.
He
That
certainly
had,
did. The rocket boosters that we have talk about
yep,
in
that
Brave
right up
Thinking
to this
Institute. Yeah.
this the top of his chart. He's going to the top. That's what he's doing. He's going to the top. And sure, he's got Jupiter is in a tension aspect, but Jupiter Jupiter only knows how to spread the wealth,
Mm-hmm.
spread the goodwill. So maybe he was too generous. With a red line from Jupiter to any place, there's an excess of generosity. Um,
Mm-hmm.
okay, call me stupid, but I don't think that's a problem, you know. So you can see, um, a little bit of what a chart can give you, can direct you towards your higher being, um, your place in the sun.
Come on back to full screen again, Jane, for us.
Okay. Yep. Mhm.
Going up to stop screen,
Yeah, yeah,
stop
yeah.
sharing. Yeah, I figured you
Yep.
knew that.
Well, okay. I'm going to. Oh, well, let's a stop video. You're sharing your. Oh,
Up at the,
okay. It's red. Oh,
there you go. Oh,
it hit me
man.
over the head. Sorry about that.
Oh, no problem. I mean, it is fascinating, and it just brings it to the scientific and out of the woo-woo world that so many people want to dismiss it. And I think that's why it was so important to have you come on today. Because one, we want to help those who might have been considering some drastic steps of suicide because they weren't being understood, listened to, accepted, to say, wait a minute, all you need to do is find out your astrological sign to understand where your strengths are. That's a way, as Wendy and I were saying, is it's just one blip of your whole life. find out that may be the perfect time to check into your astrological chart to find out who your allies can be, what your potential is, and that
Yes.
will dissolve all of the problems or all the belief that life is more than that moment.
Right.
And the
Right.
importance of coming to someone like you and saying, I'm at a stuck rock or Gibraltar stuck
Yes.
moment. How
Right.
do I get
Right.
out of it? Where's my strength? Who are my allies? Who can I trust? Who should I be careful of? Because so many times, a lot of my listeners will get stuck with that person in the moon that is the rub, as you called it, and think that they can't go any further except to pass on when that couldn't be further from the truth. That's why it's
Right.
so crucial to have you on today so that people can see that as people saw in my chart, there was red all over the place.
Hmm.
And yet I was how to use that struggle, how to use that pain, how to use whatever they think is holding them back to say, no, I am learning from my experiences to go forward, to be on this bridge with me, to go across it, to be the torchbearer. And now I am looking at the autistic woman who is late diagnosed and has CPTSD. There may be other individuals that are autistic and ADHD. I'm not ADHD because I hyper focus. And I'm sure you can even see that in my chart that I'm a hyper focuser. I'm not a squirrel. And yet there may be those who are ADHD and have the what many would consider the yin and yang. Great way to put it. ADHD and autism put together. But even in their chart, there's potential. So having you here today is crucial that they can one come to you if they want their chart, or if they get a hold of their chart, they have a better understanding of saying, my life isn't about just this one moment, this hard moment. And I love that. Gives it such a scientific rooting.
Yes. Yes. Without a doubt. Yeah. I mean, adversity, as if we can just know more about ourselves, believe more in ourselves, than we do in our pain, our suffering, our adversity. I mean, it's all about focus. Focus on what your greatness is because you were brought here for the great things and to deliver those, to be of service, and to shine. So it's all about celebration of the person, of the soul, because we're all souls having a human experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Jane, this has been awesome. I am so glad you came today because
Me too. I
I
love it.
mean, the timing couldn't be more perfect when you
Yeah.
think about all the direction I'm going in right now. And I say myself because everybody is actually important. But in this particular situation, as I look at where I'm going, I started out a year ago, January, as a torchbearer and said, well, let's try this path. And then I started saying, okay, let me bring in my book and let me bring in my chosen mothers. And here I am working on a program called Chosen Mothers. Do you have a Nancy Edison in your life? And I'm at the home of Nancy Hall, who's a Scorpio, who's an advocate. I mean, if can you all see that life isn't just coincidental? And that's
Right.
what I want you to see is by having Jane here, your life is not coincidental. Things
No.
aren't coming at you, things are working with you.
Always. Always. But sometimes we feel the pressure and it's so great that the only thing we can come to is the world's against me. And it's like, no, no, um, it's not. It just, you're feeling it extra hard today and maybe
Mhm.
tomorrow and the next day. But, where's your greatness? Don't forget about that. Don't ever forget about where you shine. And so that's what I always hope and want to bring people um, to that, to celebrate the self.
Mhm. So it's more than just sitting on the couch
Mm,
watching TV and with that pint of ice cream. It's sitting on the couch to get the rest. But also maybe as I do, when you might be able to pick up on some of these ideas, maybe you're doing a paint by number. Maybe you're doing a jigsaw puzzle. Maybe you're doing a cross stitch, which is what I do. Maybe you're doing a back rub with some because your hands are meant to be a massager. There's more than just sitting on the couch. And yeah, that's good for rest, but what else can you do? Start to explore some of the other things you can do while you're sitting on that couch because that may just inspire you to get off the couch and do more of it.
right. Yay. I love it.
So, Jane, is there anything else you'd like to add today to let people know um, how they can maybe get a hold of you to learn more about you if they're still a little bit unsure? Although I'm not sure anyone would be unsure now with all that wisdom you gave us. But how can they find you?
Yes. Well, you can find me certainly through Suzanne, but one of the things that I advise people to do is to look at my website. It's astrologicalbirthcharts.com. So it's plural. Astrologicalbirthcharts.com.
I'll
And
put that in the Facebook group page so that people can remember
beautiful.
that.
Beautiful. Yeah. My phone number, text me, call me. I am in New York, Eastern time. Um, my email is Jane is over the moon at gmail.com. So just Jane is over the moon. Because I am. I'm over the moon about all of us and our potential and our hidden potential that needs to, sometimes it just needs to be coerced out of us. Sometimes it needs to be squeezed out of us. um, but let's get it out. Let's let's have it happen. Let's show it to the light. Bring it to the light. Let's thrive.
And as you say, I mean, if nothing else, you can help them find that person that is in their life that's the advocate so that they don't have to go it alone.
Absolutely. And that you are not alone. I mean, with Suzanne at the helm, you are not alone. Captain of her ship.
On
Yay.
the bridge, anyway, right?
Of the bridge. But don't jump off the bridge.
No, no, there are
There's
too many
hope.
people here to help people go across it without jumping over it. And as we pointed out to you today, it's just one moment in time of hardship. Let's work through it together. Come to me, and I'll connect you to Jane and any of the other guests who have come on. And we are going to help you to thrive, not just survive. And
Mm,
as I say, next 4 weeks, we have a phenomenal 4 segments all about Thomas Edison in more depth, looking at his traits and how he came to be the person that Jane described, and helping you to understand the role of Nancy Edison in his life and helping you to find that ally, that chosen mother, if you really need even someone more warm and tender, helping you find your Nancy Edison. And at that, I hope you'll come back for the next 4 weeks anyway, if not longer, so that we can explore such an awesome topic. And for now, I want to say thank you to Jane for coming today. And I hope we'll see you for the next 4 weeks. Have a great day.
Bye, everyone.